Be 17-year-old me, living in central Pennsylvania. Shut-in who plays video games most of his free time. Browsing the web, see some neat shit about the Pennhurst Asylum. It's an old asylum that was supposedly closed down for abusive experiments on the patients. It's supposed to be crazy haunted. Standard urbexing fare. Some neat shit. Find a photographer who doesn't just show pictures of the place. He details the path to get there, without tipping off the guard to discourage dipshit teens. He just specifies one important thing. Do not be there after dark. Apparently the spirits there get rather violent. Think this sounds rad and want some decent memories post-graduation. Hop in my shitty car and go on a Saturday around 1. Parents don't know, they're just glad I'm getting out of the house. Arrive, park about a mile down the way. Take a long-ass route through the woods. Stumble through briar patches and shit. Get there, get inside one of the buildings, sneaky-beaky like. Looking round, coolest shit that shut-in sheltered me had ever seen. Place was trashed, occasional tags, it's cool shit. Exploring buildings, snapping pics with a cheap camera that I bought, great time. Sunset. I brought a flashlight, was a staunchy teen atheist and liked Halloween. I wanted to stay. Darkness falls, I explore freely. The site said the guard left after dark. Exploring the Mayflower building, looking in some of the upstairs rooms. Feel a cold breeze, figure it's the many broken windows. Think I hear a voice, turn around, figure it's my mind playing tricks on me. I'm in a room with a cheap old office table, a few broken chairs, and 2 old filing cabinets. Checking one cabinet for the shits, when suddenly, my hairs all stand on end. Immediately after, the fucking table hits me in the back of the head. Fucking hit the ground, seeing white flashes of light. Think I hear movement around me. I don't see shit. Recover, lurch up and stumble out to the road. I think I hear a voice, so I sprint the mile or so to my car. After the initial freakout, I calm the fuck down and start thinking of it as a neat memory. No longer a fucking staunch atheist though. Come home, realized I lost the camera to the confusion. Told mom that I lost it hiking. She bought it. Tell my friends, I'm the cool kid in the group for a few weeks. Be 21-year-old me, a year and a half ago. Halloween tradition with me and my friends to go to a haunted house. One figures out that Pennhurst had gotten bought and turned into an attraction. They want to see it too. Decide to all go. We go, have a great time. Get to arguably the main attraction of the building. Self-guided tour of the Mayflower building. I missed this on the site. I'm getting nervous. Friend convinces me to go with them anyway. Go in, recognize the first floor. See they've boarded off the second floor. Ask a worker why. I'm actually not sure. They just did. Sorry. I'm okay with this. All in all, it's a shit attraction. Finish up, go back to the courtyard. Friends are discussing what to go through next. Look back at the Mayflower building at the second floor. There's a face. There's a fucking white-ass face in the window. It's looking at me. It's grinning at me. Not the, ooh, scary movie serial killer grin. The, I remember you, you piece of shit grin. I'm rooted to the spot, just staring at it while it grins at me. Realize my friend's been yanking my sleeve. He tactfully suggests we head back to the car and go home. He was the only one who really believed me and didn't think it was just a cool story when I was 17. Find out later that I'd gone white as a sheet and they'd accidentally left me behind while I stood stock still for about 10 minutes. And that's the last time I went to that fucking place. B9. Playing in front yard while Big Brother is inside sleeping. Waiting for Dad to come home. A truck pulls up, window rolls down. A 40-ish-year-old looking guy inside the truck smiles at me.
Hey, Anon, how are you?
I ask him how he knows my name.
I'm a friend of your dad's. He asked me to come watch you.
I ask him if he's a policeman too. He looks at me wide-eyed for a second, then asks me if my dad is a cop. Say, yeah. Tell him me and my brother are waiting for him. The guy speeds off. Dad comes home 20 minutes later. Tell him what happened. Describe the guy and his truck. Has me ride around with him looking for the guy. No luck. Come home, and Dad yells at my brother for not watching me. Ends up adopting a German Shepherd. They never caught the guy. Ah, shit. I love telling this story. Working in far northern Alberta, area where it's literally a huge-ass forest, and only signs of civilization is oil or gas wells and plants. It's all muskeg in the forest area. Muskeg is scary just by itself. It's literally soft ground from decaying stuff in the forest that has grass growing on top. It can be immensely deep water or rotting plants and animals, but thick enough for grass to grow and some small trees to even take root. It's Alberta's quicksand. Moose are known to venture into it and get stuck and drown. In areas like this, some of the wells can only be visited by most vehicles in winter. Some are even more remote and can only be accessed by helicopter, even in winter. I picked up a pretty sweet job on one of the helicopter runs, doing maintenance for 2 years. I want to stress that these locations are at least 300 to 400 kilometers away from any real civilization at this point, and traveling in these areas is dangerous, not only because of animals, but shit like muskeg. One summer, my pilot lands us down. As we land, a guy exits the little shack set up on site. He looks pretty normal. Little tattered and rough, but looks like a normal human. Fairly straight, cut short black hair. Bit of a 5 o'clock shadow. Iron Maiden t-shirt that is way too large. Regular blue jeans. He's going towards the tree line. Yell out to him something like,
Hey, what are you doing here? We can help you get home.
He keeps going. Yell out again.
What the fuck, man? How did you get out here? We can help you.
Pilot even yells out something like,
We can cancel our run and get you to safety.
He makes it to the tree line while we are yelling. He stops. Looks back kind of. His face kind of slips into a smile. He then runs into the trees and disappeared. No one at work believed us. It's still stuck with me. Not really paranormal, but truly the weirdest thing I have ever experienced. I just want to know what he was doing out there. Everything in the shack was normal. 2 a.m. Be outside at friend's place. Lives by some backcountry woods. By the shed in the yard, merely feet from the woods. We're talking, having a smoke, which is why we're out there at 2 a.m. Keep hearing odd snapping of twigs. Must be an animal or something. Snapping is heavier, goes from twigs to the crushing of large branches and old logs. Footsteps are audible upon touching soft woodland soil. I couldn't help but feel that this was fucked up. Hear an absolutely inhuman cry. Mix of a guttural snarl and a disembodied screech, cadenced like a shrieking roar. Put out cigarette. Pull self onto the roof of shed. Pull him up and we both lie down flat. We were both in the mindset of, play dead, stay ahead. Making absolutely no noise, hear footsteps circle around the shed a bit.
Only run for it if it's undisputable that we've been found.
It walks around by the shed for a few, feels like an hour. Makes a few more of the same cries whilst doing it. The noise was simply unearthly. I've never heard anything like it besides then. Eventually walks back into the woods. Hear it go off elsewhere. We wait about 15 minutes. Drop off the shed onto our feet. Absolute combat sprint to the house. I still don't have the slightest as to what it was. I wasn't about to shine a light on it and give us away. It was clearly not afraid of us, and frankly, I'm well convinced that we were the prey of the scenario. We didn't have any real predator animals in those woods whatsoever. Anybody on X have ideas? Be me, be 14. Tennessee. I have a grandfather who lives out in the middle of bumfuck nowhere, surrounded by woods that are thick as shit. Visit him every month or so. Have to lock up all the doors at night because he's paranoid, including the one outside to the garage. It'll probably help to give you guys an idea of how this part of the house is set up. There's a patio that encircles the entire house, like 4 foot wide, but wider and thicker in front of the kitchen. Most of the back wall in the kitchen is a set of sliding glass doors. Patio in front of them connects to the garage, and by extension, the garage door. If you keep going to the right from there, you get to the back porch. If anyone wants more elaboration, just ask, but that's really all that's important. Like I said, all the doors have to be locked at night. My brother and I go out through the kitchen to lock the garage. We lock it, he walks over to the back porch to piss. Hear movement in the woods. Assume it's a bobcat that we've been seeing and hearing for a while. We get really quiet to see if we can spot it. The trees are literally pitch fucking black. Can't see shit, Captain. Sound has completely stopped. Hear this ungodly screech 100-ish yards out into the forest. We nope the fuck back inside. Go back up there. I don't remember the time difference. Maybe a month later. After dinner, grandfather has retired to the living room. Mom and sister are cleaning up. Brother and I are fucking around and being generally useless. Look out the sliding glass door. See this pale face that's almost human, but not quite, at the edge of the tree line. Can't see anything else. Holy fuck, freak the hell out. Brother looks and sees it too right as it disappears. Mom and sister look at me instead of outside. They don't see it. I distinctly remember this next one was 2 months after that last one. Watching TV after everyone else has gone to bed. Decide to get something to drink. Go in the kitchen. I see the face again. It's the same place. Freeze and go silent as it disappears. Run upstairs to bedroom. Didn't turn off the TV or get my drink. There's a third part that I don't like to talk about since it causes anxiety attacks occasionally. But if there's enough interest, I'll tell it. Be this may, go back up to grandfather's. Being a layabout. Realize I left my headphones in the car. Walk over to the kitchen to go out to the car. There it is. It's standing about halfway between the house and the tree line, clearly visible in the porch light, on all fours. Its body is the same color as the face. It stands up really awkwardly, like it's not quite sure how. Nope. I watch it turn back towards the woods. All of a sudden, it's gone. Don't sleep all night. Keep hearing that screech way far off in the woods. Also hear occasional thumps downstairs, and catch whiffs of a coppery scent. Too much of a pussy to go outside, or look out the window. I haven't seen it since. It's bedtime. Shit, shower, shave. Lying in bed, loud explosion, intense visual static, suddenly strapped to a chair. Man in lab coat yelling, "Put him back under." Sharp pain in arm. Suddenly, back in shower. I'm gonna dump one of my stories for y'all. I'll leave it up to you to believe it or not after your own mind. But for me, this was the biggest nope moment I've had. Some background first. This happened in Boden, Sweden, a couple years back. Boden is known for one thing and one thing only: military forts. It was long thought of as the key to northern Sweden, the first thing the Soviets would raffle stomp if they ever came charging. Those forts were secret as fuck in the past, and for some time, one of the forts were used to store a large part of Sweden's gold reserve. However, after the Cold War ended, the forts became even more obsolete than before, and were decommissioned. Anyway, the story. B-21. Hang out with female friend that is more like a sister that I never had. We are both scouts and have been for as long as we both can remember. Bored as fuck. Decide to go recon a cool campsite for the coming Halloween scare hike. My friend, let's call her H, knows a lot of cool old forts and trench systems. Drive off in my car, which was perfectly fine and had gone through inspection without a hitch only a week before. Decide to check out the nearest old fort. Park the car a couple of 100 meters from the old fort because someone had placed big-ass stones as a crude roadblock on the dirt road leading to the fort. The fort is dug like pick-related with the exception that only there is no road up to the fort. Picture is another fort near Bowden. Walk/climb up to the fort from the right slope that's somewhat accessible. Any thoughts of recon for a campsite has soon been replaced by thoughts of exploration. It's about midday, but the daylight is waning fast due to northern Sweden. Luckily, we brought flashlights. Eventually locate a hole in the fence big enough for us to get through. Explore a bit, though all doors are locked, either with massive padlocks or internal locks. Start to head back the way we came in. A thick door that we both were sure had been closed before is now slightly ajar. Not by much, just a couple of centimeters. We haven't heard any door opening or anyone else being here. This is a door about 1.5 meters wide and 2.5 meters tall, and made entirely out of 1 decimeter of solid steel, and on rusty hinges it looks like. Remember that H told me before that the local wildlife seems to shun this place. Okay, getting a real bad feeling about this right now. We both keep our distance, but our curiosity gets the better of us. We both try to peek inside. Pitch fucking dark inside. Except I sense something moving inside. Don't really know how I know this, but I just get a very weird feeling. Like something is staring at us from inside. We both aim our flashlight and thumb them on. Flashlights both give a short burst of light and then go dead as doorknobs. And we put in new batteries before we went out. In the short picosecond we have light, I managed to get a glimpse of something. A gray, blackish humanoid shape that looks more like a beast than a man. At the same time, something in my mind pushes the primal predator panic button. Nope. I'm not sure what H saw, but she is white as a fucking sheet, and as damn near panicked as I had ever seen her. We both scramble out without saying a word to each other. We both must have broken the record on 200-meter panicked sprint. I don't know about H, but I felt something. I can't describe it more than a terrible sense of hate following us. Get in the car. I turn the key. Nothing. I try to turn it again. The car won't start. The headlight won't even turn on. Eventually, after turning the key frantically again and again for the longest 2 minutes in my life, the car starts. We get the hell out of Dodge with gravel flying everywhere as I floor it until we get back on the main road. Later learned through other friends that there has been other similar occurrences there. Some hearing a faint but very much mocking laughter coming from beyond that door, and others feeling watched when they are near the fort. The door has never been ajar before, or after, and it has always been locked when anyone has tried to open it. I still get the shivers just by thinking of it, and it has been 5 years since that happened. I can add that neither H nor I have been back inside the fence of that place. Be driving home from a work trip with my coworker Mark. Be late night, around 11:30 p.m. The road is leading through a forest, no other cars in sight. It's a cloudy sky too, so it's pitch fucking black. Mark.
Hey, Anon, I need to take a piss.
Okay. Stop the car. He gets out, walks about 20 meters into the forest. I'm not sure how far since I can't see shit from the car. Hear him trip on some stick or some shit and curse. Laugh at his shy bladder. Next time, just take a piss next to the car, you moron. Mark finishes pissing, walks out of the forest, and gets back in the car. Continue driving for 10 minutes. Mark just silently stares out the window. Suddenly, my cell phone rings. Pull out my cell phone and look at the display to see the name of the caller. It's Mark. Cold sweat immediately floods my entire body. Every muscle clenched. Start shitting myself. Oh God, the thing who got back into the car with me isn't Mark. Put the phone to my ear and accept the call to not look suspicious. For a second, consider just jumping out of the fucking car. Remember that I have a switchblade in my pocket. Fuck, should I go for it? Hear a voice from the phone. It's Mark. His girlfriend. That moron left his phone at home, and so she was calling me to make sure that the work trip went okay. Close off the stream of soft stool pouring down my underpants. Mark will never know how close he actually came to having a knife in his neck because his coworker is apparently a mentally damaged moron. Be fucking around with Ouija board. Thing moves over to hello after about 30 minutes of waiting and saying hi. Panic and just scream. Board piece moves over to A. Moves back to middle. Moves back to A. Moves back to middle. Repeats. Finally understand that it's screaming back at me, silently. Freak and end the session. Burn it after and send ashes to friend.